Hi guys, it's me, Lauren Farquhar, and this is my briefing on Remember the Titans. I know that my board back here is a little bit hard to see, but I do have the two-dimensional model of followership behavior and the framing the leadership environment model as well. And those are two things that I'll kind of use a little bit with this briefing. Also, I'm going to touch a lot on the leadership, followership, the race relations at that time, and also how that relates to today's time and what kind of some of the things that we're going through in our times, and how, for me, it showed me a little bit about maybe some of the things that I need to do to step up and to be different in my own life. So I have to start by saying this was a really awesome movie. I have seen it before several times, and I enjoy, I know it was such a tense time in history, but I really enjoy that era of history. Is one of my favorite. Just the way that things were back then, as far as like family life and things like that. So I really enjoyed watching the movie because I do enjoy that time, and I also very much enjoy football. So it kind of went hand in hand and was a great movie together. Leadership wise, so to talk about some of the leadership, we have two coaches, we have opposing coaches, and we have Coach Boone, who was coming into this kind of blind, and they'd merged the schools together, and here he is kind of being thrown into this situation of not knowing really what to expect. And then on top of that, they let him know that he is actually going to take the head coach's job, which could not have been any more of a dilemma for him in his life than to think, I'm going to come in here and take this person's job from them, and what is that going to mean for me? With that, we also have Coach Yost, and he was the longtime coach there, greatly respected by his players. They absolutely adored him. And both coaches have a similar leadership style. They did have some things that kind of went together, but very similar to the other movie that we watched with Crimson Tide. You did have that authoritative leader, and then you had more of the coaching, mentoring, kind of more of the gentle side of things with Coach Yost, and then the authoritative side of things with Boone, where Boone was like, this is, there's the scene where he kind of publicly gets onto one of the players, and the players had gone to Coach Yost, and they didn't respect the fact that he had publicly gotten onto them. And that kind of leadership works for some people. Me personally, I would probably thrive under a coach like Coach Boone. When I was a competitive gymnast as a young girl, my coaches publicly shamed us all the time. And it was something that I actually learned to thrive on. I learned to like. It made me push myself further. It made me want, it made me want to prove them wrong. And there's a lot of people like me, but there's also the other side of things. And I have a daughter who is 10, and she would be on the other side of things. Publicly shaming her would not be something that would be good for her in that kind of environment. She would probably shut down, and it would not give her the strength to want to push through and prove them wrong. She would be more one of those, like with Coach Yost, to be pulled aside and not necessarily babied or coddled, but just to have that one-on-one. She needs the one-on-one aspect of things. And I think it's hard sometimes, when we look at, especially for me, being the kind of person that enjoys that, being called to the carpet, change this, change that, kind of mentality. When I deal with my children, it makes it hard because I have one that's not like me. And so I have to kind of switch gears as a leader in my own home and remember that there are differences in people. And I think that that's something that we didn't really see in the movie. Neither coach really took on the other one's role. But I think in our own lives, that is something that we have to do. It's okay to have that authoritative, this is, my home, my house, my rules kind of deal. Or with him, my team, my rules kind of deal. But at the same time, to embody principles that Coach Yost had of, being a little more subtle with things and not so crazy. The followership for these guys, the players were in such a crazy position. And some rose to the occasion and were absolutely fabulous, while others kind of sank with the times and sank with the issues. And they chose to go a different route. I know with one of our questions that we had this week for the written part that we did was about the followership and about two specific situations that happened between Beater and the other the other gentleman, Julius, between Jerry and Julius. So with that and the followership, and I know you guys can't see it, but we have the alienated follower, the effective follower, the sheep, yes people, and then in the middle we have survivors. And for me, I felt like Julius fell into, at first anyway, he kind of fell into the survivor mode of things. That time again was not one that was easy for any of those guys. And it was one of those situations where they really had to put forth an effort if they wanted to change things, but not knowing if the other side was going to reciprocate that. I think he definitely went into a survivor mode of, I'm just going to do what I have to do to get through this. I want to play football. I want to play for this team. I'll put up with whatever I have to put up with to get through it. And it was really Jerry that stepped up and made the first big move to be an effective follower and to listen to the coaches and to put aside the race relations at the time and say, you know what, we're all one. We're one team. It doesn't matter what color we are or where we come from. We're going to do this together. And the scene that impacted me the most is the one where Jerry actually kicks the other player off the team for not blocking for the black teammates. And I thought that was just an incredible moment in the movie for him to step up like that and say, you know what, you can't do that. And that individual was more of the sheep follower. He was following what society was telling him, what his culture was telling him at the time was, this is wrong and this, we shouldn't be together and you've got to stick with your own and even to the point of allowing somebody to be injured. And that was something that, Jerry just did not take well to. And so him kicking him off the team, I think, was a very pivotal moment for me anyway in watching the movie to see that. And the race relations in this played from the beginning to the end, and it really shaped the leadership of all of the characters that were able to step up in this time and show their skills and show that they were able to put things behind. The coaches butted heads in the beginning, and they were able to come together and form a team that really, really worked. And they did have different styles, and sometimes they clashed. Sometimes there was, some dilemmas that they faced, and, did he handle this correctly? And maybe should he have handled it a little bit more like I would? And there was definitely a lot of that with the players as well. What was done with each of them to develop the friendships that they had. One of the things that I thought where the coaches were concerned that was really great for what they did with the players was at the boot camp, where they forced the players to get together. They forced a white player and a black player to have to sit together and learn things about one another. And I think for team building, that was critical for them. They were able to find common ground with one another and to really come together. And that goes into race relations today and what we can do we have to find common ground with one another. We can use tools like this to see that, it doesn't matter where we come from. We all come from, ups and downs and different things like that. But we have to step up as leaders and be effective followers as well. And teach our children the same thing, to be effective followers and to be that no nonsense. I'm going to lead the pack, and I'm going to be the one that takes the road less traveled. So I hope you guys enjoyed the movie as much as I did, and I hope you enjoy my briefing. And I will enjoy watching y'all's. Good night.